Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Mano 777, and we're back inside of Destiny here with your weekly Nightfall solo strike for November 29th, 2016. Apologies I'm missing last week. I actually spent some time at home, just visiting family and friends, so I didn't get a chance to do the solo Nightfall video. So anyways, since it was Thanksgiving here in the States. So anyways, we're going to be covering how to get through the Abomination Heist very, very quickly. This week, I'm also going to be showing you a different cheese spot than the one that I used the last time, or at least showed the last time I did the Abomination Heist. It seemed to work a lot better since we had Berserk on. It seemed to work a lot better for me. So anyways, I'm going to show you that. A lot of parts of this particular strike can be skipped. You're going to see me skip quite a few things, so feel free to choose to do that if you so choose. If not, go ahead and take out all the enemies, obviously. This opening has a little bit of Fallen fighting the Hive, and luckily this is a predominantly Hive version of this strike, which makes it quite a bit easier. So I'm going to skip this first part here. That's one of the reasons why I'm using Twilight Garrison, so I can fly through this opening section and not really worry about doing anything else. Again, this is actually one of the easiest solo Nightfall videos I've ever done. Not really a lot of things you have to worry about, just a few little details that you have to take care of, especially in this opening room here, and then in the final room with the Abomination. So over here you're gonna have the 3 glyphs that essentially need to be unlocked, very much like the first time we went through Fogoth. A lot of Hive, which is really great. I'm using a crowd control cryptic dragon with firefly and explosive rounds. It does amazingly well. I wouldn't recommend using explosive rounds and firefly on a hand cannon, but on this scout it seems to work particularly well for me. So I'm using Iron Gallahorn to take out the wizards. They are not yellow bar, so they're very easy to take out with one quick shot. Essentially, I'm going to run out here and grab as much ammo as I can to clear this first wave of enemies, and I need to grab as much ammo as I can because Juggler is on. So every time there is a break in the wave and a break in the action, grab some ammunition when you can. I'm going to use my Striker ability right here and try and take out as many of them as I can, also to get a whole lot of ammunition that I can use later on. And one of the things that I really like using here is one of the things that's going on is Specialist. So Specialist makes this Nightfall kind of a breeze, especially if you've got a nice triple tap sniper rifle. I've got a triple tap 1,000-yard stare that I'm going to start using here in just a minute. So one shot's the red bar, guys, and I think it's 1 or 2 shots on, actually a 1 shot, if you do hit the critical spots on the Hive Acolytes. So that's primarily the ones you're going to want to be looking out for, is the Hive Acolytes. They're actually going to be the yellow bar enemies, but the Hive Boomers are all red bars, so they're easy to take care of in 1 shot. If you want to use your Scout Rifle, that also would be good. Again, I highly recommend a Scout Rifle and a Sniper Rifle on this part. Again, I'm taking a second, making sure there's no extra enemies around, although I do believe there's a couple that are going to jump down. Yep, I'm just going to go ahead and take them out as quickly as I can and move on to the next thing. Again, the Hive Boomers can get a little bit obnoxious after a little while, so make sure you take them out pretty quickly. Again, the Hive Acolytes just take a little bit of time to knock out, but it's the Boomers that are the ones that are very annoying. The third wave is going to feature a wizard and 2 ogres. I'm basically going to bait out Umra, I believe is how it's pronounced. And we're going to take her out, and then the 2 ogres. So I'm going to use the Iron Gallahorn to knock her out and knock out her shield, and just use my sniper rifle to finish it up. Then I'll use the sniper rifle to wrap up the ogres, which are pretty quickly, but the thing is since they don't stagger, they can do quite a bit of damage. Go ahead and just dip in and out of cover really quickly to get that taken care of, and you should be totally fine on that. So the second ogre likes to hide a lot. I found he likes to hide underneath the little shelves and stairs of this particular area. So just take a second, make sure you're in cover, get your life back so that you don't get knocked out or killed after you've done all that work by a silly little Ascendant ogre. So with that, we're going to have the 3rd rune decoded, grab whatever ammunition is left on the ground, and fly through to the next section. You're going to see me skip quite a bit of this particular part as well because honestly you don't need to take care of these enemies. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to take care of a couple of these fallen guys that are kind of in my path. These splicer dregs. Going to knock them out as quickly as I can. Take just a second. Clear a path. Those traps can be a little bit annoying, but if you so choose, you can just essentially fly over them. Doesn't take you much. If you're a hunter, make yourself invisible. If you're a warlock, basically just try and turn up your agility and move through that section.
So much pain in that scream. Why do I get the sense the ogres enjoy it? Watch your feet. There are traps everywhere.
So here in this pathway, there is a whole lot of hive that you could actually skip if you so choose. I actually decide to do that. I take a second and I basically just want to take out some of these traps and take out some of the enemies that are in my path. And basically my goal is just to get over to the main area by the hive tomb ship, so I can just hop on, clear some of the enemies from there. Don't clear out all the enemies from this hallway, but I can get all the ones by the tomb ship, and that'll give me a good ability to get to the next section a little bit faster. So there's a couple of hive knights. Again, those can be gotten a little bit better with a little bit of distance. He kind of came at me a little bit, but take a second, clear out some of these enemies that are in your path. Watch out for the wizards that can poison you and slow you down. Again, if you're a hunter, going visible is a good move here. If you're a warlock, you basically just want to try and basically warlock surf through this section as best as you can. I kind of use a combination of Titan Skating and Twilight Garrison to fly through this section. My goal is to get around to the section over to the right so I can get a little bit of cover. My goal was to try and draw some of these enemies in. I thought that they would follow me, and they kind of did, but not all of them. Only a couple of them did. So this was actually a little bit of just a safety strategy for me, is try and get a couple of enemies picked off here from a distance. Like I was trying to get this wizard to come in so I can knock her shields out. Instead, I'm kind of hidden by this pillars. My goal then changed to getting over to the right, which will give me a lot better viewpoint of the area by the top, the hive tomb ship. So we're going to be going for that here in just a second. I'm kind of just checking out enemies. Again, letting my wizards over by me do their thing and kind of get a position on them so I can move out once the poison is cleared out. Try and draw some of those cursed thrall in as well to let them just basically kill themselves so I don't have to worry about them. So starting to get a path, kind of lay it out. I start to move forward and I bolt across. Again, this path is going to do a really nice job of letting you kill these enemies from a distance. It allows you to get your sniper rifle out, use your iron Gallahorn without accidentally, running in to like a piece of environment. Again, very easy to take these guys out from a distance. As soon as I'm done with all the enemies that are over here, and be careful since you've got chaff on, sometimes there'll be ones that creep around. I actually miss a acolyte that is behind me. He starts shooting at me, and I kind of wonder if there's a wizard shooting at me or what, but it's just an acolyte, so I take him out pretty quickly. You're going to want to try and conserve as much ammo as possible, so my next goal is to try and get over to that heavy ammo box, that heavy ammo crate, and get as much as I can. I draw a couple of Ascendant Thralls over, and again, none of the other enemies are going to bother you because they're back hidden over on the side of that wall, so you don't really have any issues. When you hop on the top hive tomb ship, there are going to be two wizards that are going to appear. Use your iron Gallahorn to knock them out, each with one shot apiece. After that, you're ready to go on and enter the summoning pits. Now, I actually did a little bit of trial and error when I went into the summoning pits. I tried out a couple of different cheese spots, and I'm going to be showing you the cheese spot that I like the most. It's very reminiscent of the one that we had in year 1 in Vanilla Destiny. But what they did is they added a little bit of of some environment and some rocks that make it a little bit harder to basically stay up in that spot, especially with a group of people. So first things first is you're going to open up that door. I'm going to take a second and take out some of these Ascendant Knights because the Boomer Knights are going to be a nightmare for this spot. So get whatever heavy ammunition that you can. Try and clear out some of these enemies so you have a clear path to go into the cheese spot that I'm going to show you here in just a second. I'm also going to want to pick up this special ammo crate when I am in safety. Again, since Berserk is on, you will notice that none of the Hive Thrall actually step back when I'm using explosive rounds, but I do want to do that double damage to them, or near double damage to them, so I can get some extra damage and clear them out quicker. Again, you can see that the Hive Boomers are basically just rocking me left and right. They don't stop firing, so I'm going to get that ammunition as quickly as I can. And I'm going to go over here to this particular cheese spot. Now, this is a little bit of a harder spot to be in, and you can see it's very, very slippery. Now, what I do is I try and use my Twilight Garrison. You can actually see I actually almost fall off the edge once or twice when I'm on this spot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically use this little ledge here to knock out the Ascendant Knights. And there's 2 waves of those Ascendant Boomer Knights that I'm going to need to knock out. I'm going to take them out so I have a second and basically just know that they can't hit me. There are going to be some Hive Shriekers that are out and about. My goal here next is that you actually have to get the Abomination to start to move. So you actually have to get him off his chains. He has to break the chains and move forward. So kind of like it was in year 1. Again, you kind of have to go and hit him in the center of the chest. You can see that it does very little damage with the actual primary weapon that I'm using, but as soon as I get to a good position and take out my sniper rifle, that spot is going to be our goal. Now, that spot where his critical hit is the reason why with Berserk using this spot that I'm showing you is probably the best way to get through this Nightfall. If you go up on the top right-hand side of the map, over where I showed you last time, it's basically on that outside area. I'm going to be facing it here in just a minute. It's going to be very difficult to hit his critical spot, but here in this spot, it's going to be very, very easy to hit it once you actually get up and set up into position. Again, you can see me slipping and sliding. The best way I can tell you to mitigate the slipping and sliding is just to keep pushing forward, and Bungie has designed that spot to be slippery, so you kind of see me during this encounter pushing forward the entire time. Now, I'm using the advantage of my triple tap sniper to basically gain as much ammunition as I possibly can. That's going to be important. Since Juggler is on, I'm not going to be able to go out and get ammunition. Now, if I do that, there's going to be a ton of Thrall waiting for me, as well as Boomer Knights. And here's the second wave of Ascendant Knights, speaking of Boomer Knights. There's going to be a lot of adds and things to deal with, so I want to try and conserve as much ammunition as possible. So you can see me getting a little bit of the triple tap there, also using my primary and my heavy weapons all the way to capacity. And what you'll see me do later on is I'll actually change my Twilight Garrison to increased ammunition for special weapons. If you're using a Yowler Horn, make sure that you're out of cover completely. You don't want that rocket launcher hitting you. Now, because of that and me jumping up, I almost fall off the edge here. There is a tiny little lip underneath that you can kind of catch yourself on. You can see that I catch it right here, so just be really careful of that. Again, they try to make this spot as unusable as possible, but it's very usable by a single person. By a whole fire team, probably not, but a single person, it's very doable. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to just use as much of our special weapons as possible. I'm going to have a couple of special weapons set up so we can go ahead and get a lot more ammunition there. And I'm also going to use my special ammo synthesis. And so we're just going to plug away from him. And actually we're going to speed through this next section so you can kind of just see how it works. You can see that I've finally gotten the ability to actually get my special weapons ammunition back. I can use my synthesis, and now we'll just finally plug away at him one more time. You can see he's almost dead. Just a couple of shots to the tummy, and he'll be toast. And with that, Nightfall completed. Again, this is probably one of the easiest Nightfalls that I have done this year, actually, since I've started to do some of these. Again, some of these enemies will stay alive. Even if they kill you, you'll still be able to get your loot, but you may not be able to get your chest, so make sure you take them out. So one of the cool things you can get from this chest is you can get the Hunter gauntlets that are basically, I think they're called like Ogre gauntlets or Ogre Mauler gauntlets that are really cool. They look amazing. You can also get the Devil's Dawn Sniper as well as class items. So that is the solo Nightfall this week. I think I get a fusion rifle that is okay, not great, but it's light level 400, so that's what I'm looking for. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time in the universe of Destiny.